Hello and welcome to Demon Interviews, episode 178. I am your host, shockingly, as always, Springy, and joining us today is our very special guest.
Wee Lady Lizzy. Uh,
Yay! Oh, sorry.
so happy to be joining you today.
Oh God!
Hi.
Can you tell I haven't done this in a hot minute? I'm not used to being the host of something for like a hot minute. Okay, whew, and I don't edit, so that's all staying in there because I'm losing my mind. But thank you for being here. I do highly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Honestly, I'm really happy to be joining and, just have an opportunity to talk about cosplay.
Yay! So first question, another one that's technically not on the list, is how are you doing today?
How am I doing today? It's been a whirlwind week at work. So I am shockingly surprised that I'm still this hyper at this hour, but, doing really well, all things considered. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I completely understand that. The week just started for me at work, and the the elementary schoolers I get paid to watch are crazy, but that's a whole different conversation. um, but like I said, I do appreciate you being on the show, and I wanted to ask, have you ever been interviewed like this before?
This is actually my very first time. So I was really interested when you actually asked, and definitely something that I'd like to do more of.
Ooh, awesome, awesome. Well, we're happy to introduce you to the world of interviewing. It's like that SpongeBob meme with the rainbow. I don't do editing, so it's like, hey, it's there. Believe me, it in
I'm
my mind
imagining
it
it.
is there. Imagination. It's actually where that's from. Perfect. So the next question is so obviously if people are used to the content I put out over here, or if they are coming from your side, they know that you do the amazing of the cosplays. Um, is there any new ones you're able to tell us about without us giving you a small fee of $5?
Yeah, so honestly, I would say it's been a bit of a challenge just getting back into cosplay, especially with like conventions having stopped over the last couple of years. They're finally getting back underway. So, I have a couple of costumes that I've wanted to do now for a little while that I'm definitely working on. One is a little bit easier, a bit of a cheat, doing one of the infamous Sailor Scouts. I have the costume. You can probably see the wig in the background, and just working on the props, the final touches to really bring it to life. Hoping that I'll be able to preview that early 2023. And the other one that I'm working on, which is definitely more of a summer cosplay, just considering it's starting to get fairly cold up here, is Gwendolyn from the Saga comics. So I absolutely love that series, and I think that's a really interesting character to be able to showcase at some of the upcoming cons.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I know I am excited to see it as well. Um, and if you hear me say awesome and amazing 20,000 times, those are just the only words I know. I don't own a thesaurus to find new words. Those are just the only words I know.
Top words in my vocabulary. I love it.
Yes. Um, but the next question is would you rather eat Cheetos or go on a hike?
Go on a hike. Um, and I can justify that if necessary. To be honest, I'm not a crazy fan of the cheese powder. Whether it's having orange fingertips or even just the smell out of the bag. So put me to hard work, and I will climb that mountain.
How dare you badmouth our today's sponsor? No, we don't have those.
I love notes.
We the one time I edit will be that part only. No, Oh, Master Chester, please don't smite down us. No. But I get that 100%. Um, but the next thing we are going to be talking about is why did you start kind of posting your cosplays or makeup and so on and so forth onto the social media platforms, at least of Instagram and others, if you would like to also promote those as well, since this is all about promoting you in general. So more power to you.
Yeah, so I started cosplaying back in 2017, and it all started actually because of a Halloween costume. And as I was figuring out how to put it together, I kind of just fell into the cosplay world, and well, the rest is pretty much history. To be honest, like I was pretty new to the city, and I was just looking for a way to like let out my creative side and meet new people. And this just really was like the perfect marriage of both.
Perfect. As you can see, mine kind of just started as art projects for school with all the FNAF masks behind me.
I
Uh,
know, I know. I'm like super distracted by them, and I'm like, oh,
I
I want
know.
to see them all.
Oh, I actually do have some taken down right over there. It's I have entered and I have all the FNAF ones. I have one from Five Nights at Candy's, and I have a Bendy and the Ink Machine one, and it all of them I made, and I also have Jigsaw over there as well. I had to take
Oh,
some down because my mom wanted to use some for Halloween because we were like actually scare actors for once at a haunted house. It was really fun. Uh, it was funny because like kids came up and be like, "Wait, is that from Five Nights at Freddy's?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, it is." And my mom had to just sit there, somewhat embarrassed, being like, "Yes, it is from a video game these small children know about," which that's a whole other conversation that I don't need to get
hey,
into right
now
now.
I love it. Honestly, the more adults who get into it, the better. I think,
Yes,
if we have that multi-generational kind of community, you know, just amazing.
it will never die. um, like one of the main or no longer human characters, he will never die. um, this is not a demon media about FNAF though. So carrying on from there. Um, so the next question is going to be, you're going to be it's coming from a past guest, a Shannon Carruthers on the Instagrams. Uh, you're going to be the star of a movie. Who would you want your co-star to be? Excuse me, sorry. It can be any actor or friend or whoever. And what genre of movie would it be?
Oh, this is a hard one. When I think about the movies that I enjoy the most, I would probably have to say they're psychological thrillers.
Mm.
So maybe something along those lines, or like art house cinema.
Mm-hmm.
As far as who I would want to co-star, again, that is the hard part. Um, Funny enough, I almost feel like I have to choose one of the comedians that I follow, which is like totally unnatural for that type of genre. It would be like such a mashup.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I had to choose anybody, it would probably be one of the podcasters from a Times show um, called Still Processing. So Jenna Wortham or Wesley. I'm terrible. I forget his last name. But I joke all the time, and I'm like, honestly, if I could hang out with those two, I would be a happy soul.
Awesome. So now I have to do the stereotypical YouTube thing of don't forget to like, comment. Can you tell I haven't done it in a hot minute? Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon. It does make a difference. I hear. Um, and don't forget to follow Lovely Yes on all the social media platforms. At least a way to get to all of them will be in the description below. And if you have any questions for our lovely guest here, put them in the comment section below. And if we ever get them back onto the show in this format, then we'll ask them your appropriate questions.
Yes,
That
yes.
we've never gotten any inappropriate questions, but still,
Okay.
that one person who's thinking about it. No. Uh,
There's always that one, right?
always that one. Um, but so sorry, I want to make sure I'm saying the username right, so I'm making sure I can it I think so on the interwebs you go by Wee Lady Lizzy. Why did you choose that as your username, at least for the Instagrams, and not Batman fan 265 or anything else?
Yeah, so my original Instagram name was probably a lot more generic. Do I know what it is now? No, it's been too many years. However, Wee Lady Lizzy actually started as a bit of a joke. So my partner is of Irish background, so that's where the wee comes in.
Hmm.
I am also no taller than 5 feet, so hence why I am wee. And like Lizzie is my nickname. So, it kind of just rolls off the tongue. It fit. I use it across gaming platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So
Mhm.
that's really how I'm known across the board.
Awesome. Yeah, I completely understand that. I've been just going by Springy on all the stuff, just because based off of a Five Nights at Freddy's. Shockingly, I know. Minecraft roleplay I did when I was like, what, 8 or something? Like I had like a human Springtrap skin that you just called me Springy, and I was like, what should my internet name be? And that just kind of stuck, and I was like, well, I still my favorite character, still pay attention to the game, so I mean, somehow it came back around to FNAF. Favorite topic, obviously, but yeah, so that I completely understand that. Yeah, that's just how the Springy nickname of mine came to be and all that fun stuff. So I completely understand. I understand just the using the nickname continuously until the sun burns out in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, like, I see such interesting cosplay names out there, and I always think
Mhm.
like, oh, should I go through a rebrand? Should I, like think of something more like, I don't know, fantastic? But
Yeah.
it hasn't struck me yet. So the day it does, I will definitely, share that out, communicate it, and make sure that everybody knows.
I feel that because like Demon Interviews used to be a much longer name, but we were very early on, so we were able to shorten that shit down. It used to be, oh god, I always messed it up even when it was the title. It was like the demons behind. No, it was like the people behind the TikTok demons or something. Because like we were like mainly focusing at the first 3 episodes on people who
Right.
are do OC demon cosplays on TikTok, and that is a very small circle. So we were like, let's just expand it because like we thought we will never get any guests.
A bit
170
of a niche, just
178 episodes later, still here. Uh
yeah. So I don't do demon OCs,
well yeah, but
but
we have
one of my
expanded our
my
circles.
returns, I mean, maybe it counts a little.
Nah, you're fine. Now it's more said that technically I talk like I'm Venom, but that's because there's co-hosts some very now rarely, but other people who are recurring, who are technically the demons on here, and we are interviewing people. We rebranded the 2 words to 18A, but so the next question, getting back on topic of cosplay, uh, what is one of the hardest things about getting into one of your cosplays? The ideas, makeups, costumes, so on and so forth.
So, I would have to say that is probably, the lead up to the day, like really everything from concept right through to making it. Like just personality wise, I'm definitely a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So the saying, um, you know, um, I can't remember how it goes, but something to the effect of my costume is perfect is something like that I never say. I'm actually just like checking it here. I know I have it close by on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm completely happy with my costume and I wouldn't change a thing. Like the one thing that is never true about my cosplay. So, I definitely I can be really overambitious and I really try to get as close to the original character that I'm emulating as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on like whether I'm learning a new skill or like coming back to something that I haven't done in a while, it's always like a lot of pressure that I'm putting on myself just to make sure that I'm getting every little detail right and that I'm really like pushing it to the next level. So uh it obviously puts a lot of stress on myself unnecessarily. And it's really just, getting out of my head and making sure that, I remember that, I'm doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is really more about like expressing a passion, expressing my creativity than like being an exact replica of a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. Just like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's amazing," and then you're like, "I see that one string that's been bugging me for 8 months.
I
It's
have
right
to glue
there.
that one piece on with a different color,
Ah,
you know.
it's white glue instead of clear glue. Oh,
Yeah,
piece of
yeah.
white fabric. I
Oh
see
yeah,
you, but nobody else
that
does."
person. Yeah, and like, I do also have a background for my studies in cabinet making. And, one thing that I always try to remember from one of my instructors was, like you will create a project and, with woodworking, fine woodworking especially, you're working to a 64th of an inch as far as like getting your precision down.
Hmm.
If you miss it and you're a 32nd of an inch instead of that 64, it's like your client isn't going to notice that. What they're going to see is a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. They're not
Hmm.
going to notice that you had to, like fix a dent in the wood because like the lumber itself had that, defect. They're going
Hmm.
to see that you made something incredible for them. So sometimes you really have to like take a step back and recognize like what is your audience taking away and not just like all the little tiny imperfections that you yourself might be seeing.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's definitely something that, I try to hold on to and,
Yeah.
keep that motivation going.
Yeah. I I understand 100%. Uh oh my god, the break made me say new things. Oh my god. I'm not just saying awesome and amazing. Oh my god. This is actually mind-blowing. Sorry. 178 episodes. I can only say 2 words as a response. Now I can say more things. Wow. Uh but
More tired interviews for you coming up.
uh, so next question is very long, very complicated. This is coming from a past guest, a Mr. Zoom underscore 2028. Bacon question mark.
Mm. I say yes.
Obviously the right answer.
Yes.
Kidding.
Of course, I'm Canadian, so the one thing that I've noticed is that here, female bacon is very popular, but personally, I prefer American bacon. So I think I'm the odd one out in my country, but
You won the hearts of all of the Americans here. Yes, one of the Canadians said that our bacon's better. We win. No, but so
unless it's Maple bacon. I mean, sorry, like that, you can't compete. Maybe Vermont might
yeah,
be able to, but
yeah, yeah. Uh, so the next question, coming from the same past guest, is going to be even longer and more complicated. Peanut butter question mark.
no. Um, I'm not crazy about the smell. It's not bad, but if I don't have to eat it, it's not gonna break my heart.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Um, so the next question is going to be coming from hopefully still a fan of ours, a Charlie underscore Aronson 99 on the Instagrams. What is one thing you regret doing on camera, either video, pictures, behind the scenes,
Mm.
so on and so forth?
So I would say that, I'm pretty thoughtful about what I post online. You know,
Mhm.
like as somebody who might be a little bit older, I definitely started analog and then, came to the interwebs. Um, and like I've seen what it can do to people if they're not cautious about it or if they don't think about what they post. So, anything that I put out there, I want to make sure that I'm comfortable with. It's not just something that I'm okay with today, but something that I'll be okay with, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line.
Mhm.
However, the most embarrassing thing that has happened to me while on camera was actually a work call. It was it was a coffee chat with a good colleague, and my partner walked into my home office shirtless, and all the color drained from my face instantly. I freaked out, didn't know what to say. Thankfully, like I said, it was a very good friend who I also work with, and they were totally understanding. So,
Mhm.
it hasn't come back up, which I'm
Yet.
thankful for, but it's definitely something that still stays in the back of my mind. Anytime that door opens and I am on a call, I am hyperventilating.
Not again. Yeah, I sorry, mail just appeared. Or ha! No, this is not Blue's Clues. It does not just appear. Aha! I have it now. Unboxing video. No. Uh. So, um, next question is going to be, uh, even with the uh, not current, yeah, with the current reopenings of cons, thanks because of the shutdown and all that fun stuff. But even though they're just now reopening and stuff like that, how many cons have you gone to in the all in the years you've been cosplaying, or if you have at all, like, how many or how many different ones, if that makes it easier.
Yeah. How about we do different ones?
Yeah.
So here I'm in Toronto, Canada, capital of our province, Ontario. So every year I try to get out to at least Comic Con and Fan Expo. Fan Expo being Fan Expo Canada, which is the big one across the country, and Comic Con being in like late winter, early spring. It is a little smaller, more local, but I definitely try to get out to those every year. If I can also get out to the holiday market event that they do, I will as well. And aside from that, I've been to YetiCon, which is more of
Mhm.
a in the wild type of event. So we're off in it's a ski resort that we go to in the summertime. So it's all hills, it's all grass, and the local vacationers are definitely questioning who we are and what we are up to. I've also had the pleasure of visiting Austin for RTX. So that was fantastic in getting to meet some of the cosplay community more internationally.
Mhm.
And of course, then 2020 happened, which was going to be the first year that I aimed to attend 8 conventions in a single year, including going back to my hometown, Montreal, hopefully visiting like New York, going to San Diego. So like I had a whole laundry list of things I wanted to do, and well,
Mhm.
stuff happened. So, as things start to open back up, that is something that I'm going to be looking at. I think with how international cosplay is like becoming,
Mhm.
it would definitely be great to use that as an excuse to just travel and, see different places. Europe is definitely on the bucket list. Different, New York, like I said, so NYCC, SDCC,
Mhm.
definitely on the bucket list. So, just hoping to get out to more places as things open back up.
Awesome. Sorry, a lot of noises are happening. I don't think they're being picked up, so I got like very. I was listening. It's just like a lot of noises were happening. I was like, I think I heard my
I'm
name
not
yelled,
hearing them.
so I was like, oh god, what happened? Hold on, there's a cat in here that if I don't let out might pee on my bed. Give me one moment. Ah, cat. Okay, sorry about that. I hope the thing that might have happened and why my name was called is not what happened. Anywho, I'm sorry about that for the horrible distraction I just had. Uh, but we were just talking about cons. So, what is one of your favorite convention memories?
Mhm. So very favorite, actually happened in my very favorite costume. And that was at Fan Expo Canada in either 2018 or 2019, a little fuzzy on the date. But it was actually doing a meetup. So, like most conventions, you know, they schedule times where you can, if you are all in the same lore type of costumes, you can all meet up, take pictures, and it was actually a Disney meetup. So we had a group of easily 20, 30 different cosplayers who were all there taking pictures together. I think you had like pretty much all the princesses. We had a couple of Marvel characters in there as well, villains, you name it, and cosplayers of all ages. And there was a group of, I'd say, about 10 folks, all local, who decided that, like, let's get into an Instagram group chat. And, like, even to this day, we still keep in touch. It's very casual. It's nothing, like formal, like regimented, but it's just nice to know that, you can reach out to people that you've met through the cosplay craft, and just kind of like, pump each other up around like what's coming up. And, as conventions reopen, if any of us are going, we'll always throw it in the chat just to say like, hey, are you going? What dates are you going to be there? Let's at least say hi, even if we're not in the same lore this time around. So I think last time I got you had Gandalf and Spider Gwen in the in the same moment. So quite an interesting pair, but it was definitely nice that it all started just from a bunch of us in costume, kind of getting together for pictures, and sort of a local and online friendship building from there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that is like something we always try to do here is with the demon interviews and also just like with the server of demon interviews is just get people like connected, getting to meet new people. Most people on there, if they have the role of demonic guest, either their episode's coming out or they already came out. So if you want to know things about them, shameless plug. uh at least from a year past, but yeah. And then there's also I also know another group that loves doing like pairing people up as well. People see me on there, like cosplay tea time, very great place, same type of community and all that, and yeah, and that's fun. But to actually go back on the topic, because I like going off topics for some reason. Today is my
Tangents
off
are
topic.
fun unless you
Yeah,
have to learn them in math.
yeah. Uh, so okay, this is the last con based question. But is there any upcoming cons you would like to talk about that you're planning on going to, or that you want to go to again, or anything along those lines?
Yeah, so I'd have to say that I would really love to get back out to Montreal. Of
Mhm.
course, as soon as I left the city and started cosplaying, I found out a ton of people that I went to high school with, had been friends with throughout the years, actually cosplay as well. So, it's definitely allowed us to rekindle friendships and, to have a reason to go back home in costume. Always fun. Other than that, like I was saying earlier, definitely, I want to see the big ones. So, on my bucket list, I have New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. Maybe need to do a little bit more boot camp before I go there. But like I definitely like to see those. And then if I can get out to Europe at some point and just see what it's like across the pond, that would also be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't worry about like feeling like newer to con or not newer to needing to go to more cons to go to those ones. I've only been to two, so you're in the company of somebody who's only been to like barely any. Um, but yeah, so yeah. Um,
Yeah, I'm a multitasker, you know, like
yeah,
I love to travel. I like to sew, do makeup, hair, all the work, you know. So if I
cosplay.
have a reason to put everything together, like
Hmm.
yeah,
True. I mean, hey, put all the things together and you get cosplay going to a convention.
that's it, right?
Perfect. Perfect.
And
Um,
hopefully no bag stopped by the TSA.
yeah. I promise, officer, that is not a real uh giant sword. That is just a piece of foam. I promise it's
It's
not
home,
real.
I swear.
I swear I'm not trying to blow up the plane with a fake plastic with a fake foam sword, I promise. Uh
Funny enough,
that
when I
got
went
really
to the
dark
US,
too. Yeah, that got
I
really
did
dark
actually
too.
like put like a whole sheet in with my props. I was just like, this is what it is. This is the character, like all the reference material possible. Because I was like, if they scan this, like it kind of does look like a firearm. I do like, I really, really hope they don't take it and confiscate it. They
Yeah.
just need to know this is PVC. It can't
It's
hurt
not real.
anybody.
It's
It
just a
has
piece of
zero
foam.
mechanics.
It's less than a Nerf gun. I promise you.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
does less than a Nerf gun. It just looks really cool. Uh it makes me happy. But, so who from the interwebs in general that like you might have been like following or for however long would you have like to do an IRL collaboration with, photos, going to a con together, video projects, or whatever crosses your mind?
Yeah, so I would have to say that when I started, and you know, I don't think that's necessarily true today, but when I first started, I didn't really find quite as many like BIPOC individuals who cosplay. So
Hmm.
that was something that really drew me in as I started to see more individuals who, um, like fit that category, I guess, you
Hmm.
know, not to diminish. Um, so I would say like Cutie Pie Sensei, I think does some amazing work. And you know, if there was anybody in the world that I would love to do a team up with, definitely she's, you know, top of the list. I think Yaya Han is probably a little too far out of the range, but you know, just to see that, you know, she was somebody who actually has been able to make cosplay like a day-to-day thing, build an empire out of it, write books. You know, you can find her patterns and, you know, props all over, or well, costumes all over the place. So, you know, just to really be able to like learn and understand like how do you do that kind of stuff, and you know, how did you take it from just how did you take it from a passion to like making it a career and you know like an empire like really
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, trying to see. The one thing with OBS is, unless I want to show OBS on the stream, I don't know how long we've been going, and I try not to make 3 hour videos, or it's only been like maximum an hour. But so next question is, how are you and some of the characters you cosplay alike, and how are you different?
Mm. So how are we? I'll start with how we're alike.
Mhm.
So one thing that I really do like to do with my cosplays, while I don't think it's necessary by any stretch of my imagination, I think with a lot of fantasy, you know, like there's an opportunity to showcase characters that personally I wouldn't have necessarily seen myself growing up. So, you know, if there's a way for me to be able to like play with my skin color or my hair texture with a cosplay, that's something that I always like to try and incorporate.
Mhm.
um, and so I would say probably physical characteristics that's like one piece. And then personality wise, I do try to like female characters who are like, I guess really powerful and really exude like you know somebody who's got their game together.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like that's how we are alike. As far as like how we're different, I would say a lot of the characters that I embody tend to be probably more confident and extroverted than I am as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always something that I find that, I kind of have to think about even as I like, put on the costume and like, get into character to really like personify the character and not necessarily like recede into myself when I'm in costume. So, it helps me to like push myself, be a little different, try things that I personally maybe wouldn't, and even just be a little bit more confident and body positive.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, I almost burped like 3 times during this. You're fine. Uh, but I think we'll go with 2 more from the list, and then we'll go into the final 4 questions. Um, so first of
Yeah.
all, coming from a past guest is uh, I always butcher their name. M- Maya Moy underscore Mia Gui. I know I said that wrong. I'm
Mm.
sorry. Go find that episode. Um, where I also butchered it horribly. Um, so what? It's a very deep question. What does cosplay mean to you?
Mm. That is a very deep question. And for a long time I kind of hid it because I felt like, it's one of those things that, you kind of do on the side. It's sort of a niche hobby. But as I've really started to do it more often and really get into the craft, making my own costumes and recognize that it's really just a different type of art. It's an opportunity to really show craft. It's costume making, it's wig making, it's prosthetics, and even when we look at some of the incredible work that cosplayers do, it can rival what some cinemas are putting out as far as their costumes for fantasy and superhero movies even so I have to say that like first and foremost it's really the art, the craft, and then after that I'd say it's really community. It's like-minded individuals. I think at least for the people that I've met, a lot of us are do tend to be introverted. And it gives us a space to really just be comfortable, be who we are, and not feel that societal pressure of having to fit a certain mold and just like beating to our own drum.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So, the last question coming from the list is, I guess technically another deep question. What is wrong with me? Why is there so many deep questions next to each other? Bacon again. We'll go over that again. No, you know, what does cosplay mean to you? Bacon. So many deep questions in this show. Um, but this next one is going to be: who is your cosplay inspiration or inspirations, if you have any, or multiple?
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know if I really have an answer to that one. Like I'm not really one to follow many of the large cosplayers, the really famous ones. Like for me, I'd really say it's your everyday convention goer. It's just being able to show up at a convention, meet normal people who like you could be crossing paths with or like working with or like passing in a mall and just seeing, what else is like hidden in their closet, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's knowing how talented people are and just being able to see them, embody that and personify it and bring it out, a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like um, it it's kind of cold a few months of the year, so
Hmm.
we get a lot more elaborate costumes come summertime. But it's yeah, I'd say it's your everyday convention or
Yeah, awesome. And Batman, of course. The best cosplayer is just
well, yeah,
Batman. He has to make
or
it, he has to buy it all, you know. Uh, but for some reason, I bring up Batman a lot in this. I just now realized that. Gee, I'm not even a big Batman fan. I'm
it's all good.
I'm wearing like a bunch of Spider-Man stuff. I have Carnage and Spider-Man pop figures and Venomized pop figures all right behind the screen. What? Why can't I just say
So
Spider-Man? What's wrong with me?
it's funny you say that, but like growing up for me, it was either like cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
but it was either Batman the animated series or Spider-Man. Like I want to say like the 1980s, ah, where it wasn't like super clean. It wasn't like new animation at all by any
Yeah,
stretch, very much 2D. But like it was either one of the two of them.
yeah.
Obviously today, I do tend to get into a bit more of the Marvel live action, but like ask me to pull out my classic Harley Quinn costume, and I am there. I am ready.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It looks very good. You do an amazing job on that. Um, Speaking of, I almost completely forgot to talk about this thing. So, the other day, or last month as of this recording, and I guess as of this coming out, technically, you were on an amazing live stream. Do you want to kind of talk about how you don't have to need you don't need to go into like the uh everything, but like how did you feel about doing it and like while you're doing it after it and all that fun stuff? Like, because I know that's an experience. So how did that
Yeah.
go for it?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
stuttering.
right.
Go.
Definitely an experience. So that is the very first time that I would have done a solo live stream panel. Through that community, the C3 cooperative, I've definitely had the opportunity to participate in past live streams, but it had always been in like a group setting. So this was my second year participating in the Extra Life Game Day 25-hour stream because, of course, we have to do it on the week that, daylight savings changes. So, rolling back an hour, you get an extra an hour in your 24-hour stream. But anyway, so uh, I was unbelievably nervous this time around, just, being the first time going solo and, really showcasing more of like in the process of doing the craft.
Mhm.
Like body paint is not something that you typically apply in an hour. So, it definitely required me to consider like what are the constraints. Like I was posting on my Instagram, probably the most prep I ever have been at the start of, putting on my body paint.
Mhm.
Usually I'm like running from room to room and fanning myself to dry coats. So it was really interesting to be able to participate and like that stream is just something that I am so very passionate about because it supports children's hospitals.
Mhm.
For myself, any donations that I raise, and the link is still up if anybody's interested. Shameless plug. Um, like the funds are going to the Sick Kids Hospital here in Toronto, and it supports different hospitals across the Miracle Children's Hospital Network. And like as somebody who grew up with like pretty severe asthma, like definitely
Mhm.
going to the hospital is something that I personally experienced a lot. And pediatric hospitals have the next level of not just dealing with like an illness, but also dealing with an illness for somebody who's too young to potentially understand what's happening to them, having to understand like the anxieties that their parents might have to go through. And, like kids and even, some adults in society might not be quite as understanding about an illness or any type of condition that you might have. So just the compassion that they show to these kids and really make them recognize like there's nothing wrong with you. We're going to help you and we're going to get
Mhm.
you to where you need to be is really something that's close and near and dear to my heart. So to be able to give back to the various networks across North America, it's definitely something that matters. And so, to be able to do something that I'm passionate about and like take my craft and then also tie it in with just being a good citizen and community member, always something that warms my heart and fuels me even when like I'm like shaking, nervous, and a little more dewy than I should be when applying body paint.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I was actually, obvious. I was actually watching the stream. I was kind of there to support my friend who was actually on right after you. Um,
Okay.
and I caught some of your stream, and body paint is one of the things that I need to get into for one of the cosplays I'm planning on doing. That's done ish, done ish maybe. Because I'm planning on still technically doing a Grim Jean arc, which would be like a thing like a Ruby alternate
Yeah.
universe thing, and I need to do white face paint. I just
Mm.
you know out of
Um,
everybody in the room, you might know the best about like about like white face paint, like having to go like just
yeah.
like
Um,
like this level of you know just
yeah, I mean, like that's the color that I achieved with my Harley Quinn costume, right? So,
yeah.
I would definitely say cream body paint, use a stick. It makes it really easy. If you can get some, I actually, embarrassingly still have some of my stuff out from the street.
It's
But if you
fine.
can get like a round, like one of the rounded bristle makeup
Hmm.
brushes, those do buff the paint in really nicely. Um, Typically with the stick you can get like one really thick nice coat and it'll go on really smoothly,
Hmm.
and just make sure you let it dry, like really like dry set, before you apply any additional colors. Otherwise, instead of a red you're going to get a pink, instead of a black you're going to get a gray.
Yeah.
But you can definitely mix the cream paint with water based
Hmm.
paint, so if you're doing any type of like details over top, definitely that is possible. And just make sure that you use like a white or translucent powder to set the makeup. So like apply the cream, put the powder on, let it dry completely, and when it is completely dry, do all your details.
Do it again.
Yeah. So like if you miss any spots, you can definitely go in and touch it up. It's
Hmm.
really just a matter of like patience. And I would say definitely like when you're doing body paint, don't don't try and do your makeup for the first time on the day that you're actually doing the cosplay. Make sure you do a cosplay like a
A
cosplay
test.
makeup test. Try it out. You don't have to do like if your character requires you to do your whole body, like I'm not saying you have to go in for your cosplay test and do your whole body, but like try a couple different spots. Try a
Yeah.
bit on your arm, try some on your face. Like just plan it out and make sure that when it comes the day of the convention that you also give yourself more time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anxiety and like
In here.
emotion as you're going into like like a full cosplay day. So like
Hmm.
give yourself that time to just get ready and be comfortable, especially with body paint. The last thing that you want is for your skin to feel very like dewy or moist. You want to make
Yeah.
sure that like you're not like fresh out of the shower still all steamy when you start applying it, right? Like give
Yeah.
yourself that time. And if you can, stay as air conditioned as
Yeah. I normally do masks, so yeah, I can I understand the air conditioning. But yeah, I've kind of like found, at least for right now, a cheat to where I just use like as you can tell, it's very white.
yes, yes,
Just white sleeves that I even drew on a little bit with a little bit of detailing, like a grim eye,
yeah.
and also the other one has like a grim version of his logo ish, you know, because I'm not I only have to do like half. I am cheating it so much to where I don't have to do like a whole thing because I have white gloves, that has fake nails, I have these, and I have a half mask
Mhm.
that kind of like goes like all over like right here. So I don't do.
Okay.
I only have to like this half my face. I'm still like that's the last thing I'm going to worry about out of all.
Honestly, super smart.
Yeah.
Like if like I think that's the one thing that I still kind of debate. Like if I want to bring back my Gamora costume from Guardians of the Galaxy and
Hmm.
that green paint, I the arms are definitely, a feat. Getting it like all over my shoulders and my back. So, like definitely if you can get like a bodysuit or, like arm shield, gloves, things like that to help minimize how much of your extremities you need to paint,
Hmm.
honestly, all the better. Um, and the only thing that I would say, if you are doing like a half mask or anything like that, just
Hmm.
make sure that you're bringing your paint slightly over so that
Yeah.
that way
If it
like
shifts, it'll still be. Yeah,
that's it,
makes
yeah.
sense.
But like even with something like the white body paint, personally I used I want to say it's Paradise by Maron paints. So I used their cream stick, and ultimately like it really stays. So I used it both like during regular time as well as during conventions where we did have masks. So I would say like it really stayed. It was solid throughout. And even the part that was covered by the mask, it's really only where like the rubbing occurred that the makeup really wore off. But anywhere like around my cheeks or anything like that, the makeup actually stayed even though I had the mask on all day. So
Wow.
really good quality and it doesn't cost a fortune. No, I am not sponsored by them, though. If they want to send me free stuff, I will gladly accept. But yeah, I would say Maron is really great for that. Definitely with a color like white, you want to use a cream stick.
Hmm.
But for detailing, for some of like darker colors, I think water-based paint can really do a great job. Personally, I don't use alcohol-based paints, but
Yeah.
like if you're getting into like spray painting, things like that, or like airbrushing, those are definitely an option as well.
Awesome. Well, I will most likely have to ask like 18 more questions when I actually get stuff. But yeah. Th- thank you. I appreciate the tips so much because I that's the thing I'm terrified about, and because like my thing is that I'm trying to have like an action feature on my thing where it's like I try to like whip out blades from the arms like lightsabers,
Amazing.
and I actually for what I'm calling the prototype because I'm planning on fixing it is I actually bought two cheap lightsabers, took them apart, and just stuck them on there with a piece of foam. And like they work pretty well. It's just they don't look the greatest. I would show you. I'll probably show you pictures later, but because they're up there, and I don't want
Yeah,
Jean to
no, I
come
would love
tumbling down on me, because all of his armor is
yeah.
just right there, and I don't need a blonde man to attack me right now. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, like aside from Ruby Scythe, I think he probably has the largest props and equipment pieces. So,
I I I
amazing.
I actually bought this, to be honest. I got this in the Shield. I bought them off of somebody on Etsy. Speaking, if you ever see that
Hey,
video, because I actually did a review for this and the Shield, uh, if you get them both together, you actually get a deal. It's not a sponsored thing; it's just the truth.
hmm.
But the
Oh,
but
that's
it's
amazing.
but they're $400 for both.
Oh,
But
yeah, I mean,
like I
I'm one of those
swing this
cosplayers.
like hard, like not into something obvious because it's still foam, but like and it like I
I've
if
brought
this
weight to it.
I can like I can shake this hard and it's not gonna come apart, type of thing. You know,
No, like it looks solid and like it's not like
and it actually
flimsy or
fits
anything.
in the shield too. Like the whole.
Oh,
I have to show you the picture
what a
because I
dream.
actually took a picture of it like at like in the sand at the beach because I live in a beach town. So like I actually have a picture of it in the sand on a beach, like on all that. So I have to send you that and my picture of the questionable action feature. Uh, but yeah. So now we're gonna go on to the final four questions. first of all, do you have any questions for me as an individual or about the show in general?
Um, yeah, so maybe one question. This is already episode 178. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where do you want to go as you continue to grow?
Well,
My
I've
turn for
actually,
deep questions.
yeah, I know, right? I've actually had to think about this a few times because I actually taken some business classes just because I was exploring college stuff, and I actually used demon reviews as my. I didn't use it as a project. I used facts from it to kind of just like input for slideshows that I needed to
Right.
show. I used it as that, but I didn't make it for that. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to think because like the main goal of demon interviews is to get our guests higher than where they are now in whatever they want that to be is technically that'll be up to you whatever what you mean by higher means but and just get people's faces out there more on platforms that they might not use as much like because there's some cosplayers who don't use YouTube like for posting any videos at all. The only exposure on YouTube is when people take their content and then post it for themselves. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Those amazing people who steal. uh um who steal content. But yeah, that's like, and I want them to have like a positive output to and we also um offer, I guess the best word, maybe. Like other things that people can come back onto and join onto, like character interviews. Where you dress up as the character and you pretend to be said character, and I ask you questions as said character. And usually, there's a few people in there with you, so it's not just like you by yourself being like, "Hi, I'm pretending to be this person." And like again, it's very loosely like how this is, but
Absolutely amazing.
it's really fun. It really is. I've done a few Ruby ones. I've done a Common Writer one. I've done what was another one I did? I we've done a lot of Ruby ones. I know that because they're easy to section off into sections of characters very easily. We also done Common Writer. We did a FNAF one actually with only one animatronic and two people playing technically purple guy, but works. It's purple guy and purple gal. uh canon on whatever. But and then also we've done like Doki Doki Literature Club, which is actually our highest viewed video right now. Um, I still love the opening to that, and I still am super uncomfortable with the opening because it was like me being off screen and the other person by themselves on the call calling for me, and I have to come into frame, and it was, oh god, it was so awkward. And then we brought in the other four as being like, now they're not deleted anymore. Spoilers for the game that's been out for years, but oh god, it's so awkward. But super fun. Like we've had a lot of people come back and do multiple characters. And it's really fun. We also do demon media, which is basically just sitting and talking about uh OCs. Sometimes we mainly talk about like other shows, movies. We do a lot of Marvel movies. We do a lot of Ruby because again, easily sectioned off.
Yeah.
We've done FNAF. We've like went over the games. I've even started playing it. I only have one video of me playing it right now, but and Demon Reviews, which is just like so far it's been me and one other person who hasn't done it in a while. Just reviewing stuff either they've bought or stuff to make other
Mm.
cosplay props like wigs and weaponry and all that. And being like giving their honest opinion as far as they want to about the quality when they bought it and if they can buy it again, like if somebody else can buy it,
Mm.
like I have a video on this, I have a video on my armor that I did also buy, uh, because and all stuff like that, and people are always welcome to come and do those, like and all that fun stuff. But yeah, our main goal is just back on the question, uh, is trying to help people either come to YouTube or just have another outlet to put out content if they wish to or anything along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like to your earlier point, like YouTube definitely isn't a space that I normally occupy. With the exception of extra life game day.
Hmm.
So, to really help individuals in the cosplay community get into spaces that they would normally reside, definitely really great. And I'm looking forward to checking out some of the past episodes, especially considering some of these spoilers.
Yeah.
um, you know, and yeah, I think it's really great that you guys are doing this.
Yeah.
Again, appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything else you want to ask me or ask me about the show or anything along those lines?
Ah, maybe I might need to come back with a list of
Oof.
questions myself. More deep ones.
Roll
Uh,
switch. Episode 179. Other way around. No, you have 5 seconds to write them. Go. Uh, but yeah, that sounds awesome. But to kind of go on to next one, which kind of links with this, is would you ever like to come back to the show, either for another interview or for another project in the future?
Yeah, for sure. Content creation is something that I'm like, to my earlier point, like I'm still fairly new to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more comfortable with stills or, showing up at conventions after having, toiled away in my craft room.
Mm-hmm.
So, to get that exposure online, to be able to do more video creation and, definitely collaborate with other like-minded individuals, is something that very much interests me.
Yeah, because like I know I have an idea to just have like 6 Harley Quinns in one call and let them just go at it. Just see like where
I
that
might
goes, and
have
I'm just
to
gonna sit
work a
there.
little on my Boston accent.
Just me, just sit there and be like, just watch it happen. This is interesting. Just me sitting and just everybody just talking with each other. It'd be funny. But yeah, I know I've been that's an idea that I've had in my back in my mind, and I have a few people I want to contact, and but
Yeah, no, totally down. Let me
the
know.
more the more just have the like, just insane amounts of Harley. I'd be like, okay, so I'm just gonna turn my camera off and go. You guys go at it, and then just like hit record and just go. Just like go, have fun, whatever
The
you want to do,
chaos.
have fun. Chaos, let chaos ensue. Talk about how some of you like the Joker and some of you don't. More power to you. But just like arguments, like the room gets split in half. Like amazing, not amazing,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Just like in real life. Carrying on from that fun topic. Um, do you, what was another word I was trying to look for? Do you have any suggestions for a future guest to join the show in any way?
So, I briefly alluded to it. From Extra Life, I do like I've been part of the C3 community for quite a while. Previously people might have known it as key cosplayers. And honestly, I like I can't recommend these folks enough. There's some really great cosplayers within that community, whether we're talking about Mangluz, we've Bell, um, or Kitsumi cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say like hit up any of them, any of the folks who did any of the panels that day, as
Mm-hmm.
well as many others who are lurking in the channels. Just so much talent, so much inspiration, and folks that really get me jazzed about doing more.
Awesome, awesome. Because I know we've at least interviewed, I think two of them that were on there. I know at least one, but I think there
Okay.
was another one I recognized on there that I think was in a character interview actually. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah, you have to go watch that one too.
yeah.
Ironically, I think they did a lot of
Oh,
makeup as well, a lot of white makeup as well. So like, yeah. And I felt the whole interview I felt kind of bad because like everybody like showed up in like a pajama version of Juniper, except for the person playing Pyrrha, who went full out Grim Pyrrha for it. Full 3 hour makeup, and I was like, I feel so bad because like I'm just here like in my normal outfit. I took a shower, an hour like a few hours ago. Everybody's like in wigs and like in their outfit and like in like a their own version of a pajama outfit, and then there's just Grim Pira, just like, hi, I took 3 hours to do this for a 30-minute video. I'm like, thank God you also have TikTok videos.
I
uh,
know that's a day where you film a lot of content.
yeah,
And
but yeah, those videos are always fun. Those are always fun. Like they're not strict at all. It's like this. It's not strict at all.
yeah,
But yeah, if you have like certain people in mind, just send me their usernames and stuff so I can start sending out messages. Praying people answering because I know my message sounds like it's a scam, but it's not. I promise. I'm not fake. I promise. Um, but there's also the last question: is do you have any questions for a future guest?
Thank you question. Hmm, that is a tough one. Oh, okay. Um, how do you feel about mashup cosplay?
Ooh.
And like, it's something that like personally I'm always interested in. I always think they look super cool. But then it's like it comes time to like create one myself and I'm like, what do I do? How do I make it look good?
Yeah,
How do I get there?
I get that because I right now I'm actually working on a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of like Roman Torchwick,
Oh,
and I called him Roman Frostwick because he's
that's
from
good.
Christmas Land. I actually have a lot of him. I'm actually working on the weapon currently, and I got the jacket actually commissioned out to somebody. It actually should be done by next Christmas, maybe not this upcoming one, but the one after that. But
Okay.
hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
that's the plan. That's the plan. I have everything else. I just need a new hat. I need a hat. I need to finish the weapon. I need the jacket. But I'm excited. I'm excited for those. But yeah, I do mashups sometimes, mainly in like concept. But when I'm like, because like this is a combination of Kamen Rider and Ben 10 that I 3D printed this back when the 3D printer worked, and then colored it like Kamen Rider colors for like one man in particular. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything else with this. It's just this doesn't fit me, so I just colored it weird. I just colored it like my dude because this does not fit me. This is too small. My arm's too big. But yeah. So I'll definitely write that down and put that on the ye old list and credit you as well. But with that, that is all. So thank you so much for being on the show. I highly appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me. This was definitely a blast, and I definitely hope to come back in future.
Yay! Well, and I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to do all the stereotypical YouTube things, and don't forget to follow Lovely Guest on all the social media platforms. I don't know if the live stream you did is still on Twitch or not. Twitch is weird. I don't know.
It is on YouTube, so
Oh,
yeah, I can definitely share that link with you.
yes,
If
I'll
you
put that maybe somewhere. Technically, I think maybe over
yeah,
there, above your head, over there, maybe over there, that way, over, just in that corner, over there.
a corner.
Superman pose that way, and it will hopefully pop up if I hopefully remember things somewhere. Somewhere. Um, hopefully, or it popped up earlier and you just didn't notice. Secretly popped in a thing. But yes. So thank you all for watching. I will try to have more content uploads. Maybe. Make people answer me. Uh, but thank you all for watching, and at least I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.